In the room is Daniela and Ji-yu. Soon her husband arrives and calls her and says, "Love, I arrived." So she asks her lover to leave the room and disguise. Her husband opens the door, and Daniela asks Ji-yu to bend down and sit on the couch and pretend he was there. When she gets close to the couch, her husband notices that Ji-yu is sitting on the couch and asks what was he doing there. Ji-yu replies, "I stopped by to greet you, I was waiting for you to arrive." The suspicious husband says, "Seriously?" Then he changes the subject and hugs Daniela, saying, "Hi love, how are you?" So Daniela asks how was her day. Her husband responds, "Was fine." But he suspiciously says, "Strange you are here." Daniela interrupts saying, that Ji-yu would have gone there to talk to her husband. The husband says, "You could have warned me that you would come." Ji-yu gets up and says that he would have a very serious matter to deal with Paul. So Paulo again says that he could have warned him by calling him to talk in the kitchen. Ji-yu follows him saying that he wanted to talk about the company, that he wanted to open it could work. Days later, Paulo is sitting on the couch. Daniela then approaches and sits on the couch and says that she needs 300.00 reais. Paulo asks what she would do with the 300.00 reais. His wife says that it doesn't matter what she would do, what she wanted to spend. Paul says, "If I am going to give it, I need to know what it is for." Daniela tells him to stop being annoying, now he's going to adjust. Paulo answers and talks, "And my money, and I need to know what you're going to spend it on." Soon the doorbell rings and he asks, "Are you expecting someone?" She answers him no, so he gets up. When he opens the door, he comes across Ji-yu and asks what he was doing there. Ji-yu says he went to visit. When he enters, Ji-yu takes Paulo's hand and hugs Daniela. So Paulo asks them to sit down, and that he would go to the market to buy them something to drink, and asks Ji-yu if he would wait for him. Ji-yu answers yes, you can go easy. Paulo tells Daniela that he would go then, and says that he would already withdraw the money for her, saying goodbye to her. So Paul suspiciously goes to the door and opens it, and closes the door again and hides behind a wall to hear what would happen. Ji-yu quickly gets up from the couch and hugs Daniela, thinking that Paulo had left. Soon Paulo appears and starts laughing, saying congratulations. Daniela, desperate, already answers him, "Love, no, and that's what you're thinking," and that he didn't understand what was happening. So Paulo punches Ji-yu. Daniela tells Paulo if he was going crazy. Paulo replies, "You cheated on me with my friend again." Daniela says it wasn't what he was thinking. Angry, Paulo says, "No, and I saw you grabbing him." Ji-yu gets up with his hand over his face. Disappointed, Paulo leaves. Running in the street, crying a lot, Paulo goes to a square and sits on one of the benches, but soon he gets up and starts walking on a bridge, so he says, "I'm going to end this soon," sitting on the woods. Soon a girl appears telling him to get out of there and asks what was going on. Paulo tells her to let him finish his job, and that he wanted to end his life soon, and that he had just seen his wife cheating on him. The girl asks, "Are you going to end your life because of this? Do you think this is worth it?" "It's not worth it," hugging him and asking them to get out of there. She asks him to calm down. Sitting on one of the benches, she calls him for a coffee and asks what he thought. He replies that it could be. Daniela, sitting on the couch, her cell phone starts to ring. Is it her friend who asks how she was? Daniela replies that she was not very well, and that two things had happened, but that later she would tell her what had happened. Ji-yu appears drunk, saying he was hungry, and what was she doing sitting on the couch doing nothing? With a feel in his hand, he asks, "Where is my food?" Daniela says goodbye to her friend and turns off her cell phone. Ji-yu goes to Daniela and asks her again about her food. and calling her lazy. Then he threatens to hit her with her feel, and Daniela says, "Don't do it, please." And he says, "Then get up from there, you lazy." Again Daniela asks him not to hurt her. G.U asks who she was talking to and says, "I know this friend well, I know you well." Daniela says she was her friend and gets up saying she would do the food for G.U, asking him to wait, so G.U hits her with feel and tells her to go soon. Crying, Daniela goes to the kitchen. 3 years later, Paulo marries again the girl who had helped him in the park. Daniela is working on a camel, selling cell phone cases. The couple walking and happy, they meet Daniela and she says, "Hi Paulo, how beautiful you are." Paulo replies, "Are Daniela, how long, what happened to you?" Paulo looks at his wife and she asks who was she. He doesn't answer her and asks his wife to wait for him in the car, and then they talk. She complies with her husband's request. Daniela then starts talking about how after they split up she went through a lot of approval and now she sold cell phone cases to survive. Paulo says that he suffered a lot when he discovered Daniela's betrayal with his best friend, and says that today he is at another moment in his life, and that today he is very happy thanks to a person who appeared in his life at that moment so difficult, and say, "You know what I can do for you? I will buy 2 cases to help you." Daniela asks, "You will take 2? He answers that yes, that it would be 1 for him and 1 for his wife. Daniela gives him the covers. Paulo goes to the car and delivers the covers he bought to his wife. Then he looks back and realizes that Daniela was looking at them. When he realizes Daniela turns her face away, Paulo then leaves, and Daniela mutters in the back asking for forgiveness for what she did to her ex-husband.